missed it though.
Well, I could always intro it.
Yeah, boy. You better not be introing it right now. I'll kill you.
I could be.
I will end you. You're clicking. You're fiddling.
Always.
Uh-oh.
So, what's up?
I could tell by your face that you hit record.
Oh, I hit record
Crap.
24 seconds ago.
Crap. Brian, I'm on number 1,316, and welcome to the Brothers Game Podcast with me, Nicolai.
And Brian, care to elaborate?
Well, you see, as we're recording this, I am mashing the B button on my Nintendo 3DS. New Nintendo 3DS.
Ooh.
Very fancy. Just for fun. I just felt like mashing all day. Mm-hmm. And
You're all about that mash.
I'm in that mash life. What are you up to? Besides eating a bagel on a podcast.
Sorry, I was hungry before we started recording. So
You didn't even finish it. I'm looking at it.
Yeah,
right behind
I know.
you.
It's because I'm talking on a podcast, and I don't want to have food in my mouth while I'm talking.
People love that. People love the sound of people eating on a podcast.
Yeah, I'm sure they do.
It's everyone's favorite thing. To elaborate, I guess I'll elaborate since I have to. Me and Brian like Pokemon. I don't know if you could tell by the every episode ever.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we talk about. Whatever. I'm currently grinding for a shiny starter in Pokemon Moon. Not the hardest game to get a shiny starter, certainly compared to Gen 2 and things like that. But definitely not an easy one. Thankfully, you can soft reset. You don't have to, wipe your entire save file and start over like in some games. But yes, I am trying to get a shiny Rowlet, who's probably one of my favorite starters ever, which I actually wanted to talk about starters a little bit, maybe later. But yes, I am currently on 1,316.
Awesome.
It's like a 1 in 4,096 chance. So
definitely not the worst odds we've had.
Not the worst odds
in a video game, but yeah.
But pretty cringe. Yeah. So that's what I'm up to. And I was going to stop, but I thought it'd be funny to just do this the entire podcast, if you're good with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you get lucky, maybe it'll happen during this
so
podcast.
Awesome if if it happened while we were recording. So so there you go. Oh, here we're about to see on this audio only podcast. Did not get it. So I'm soft resetting L and R and then select or start. We'll soft reset the game, which is very convenient.
Mm-hmm.
If you had to go to the home screen and close out and go back in every time, I would shoot myself.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
What are you up to?
Well, shocker, I've also been doing Pokemon-related things.
Whoa!
So,
Listen, it's a Pokemon time. All right, there's a lot going on in the Pokemon world.
So we were you introduced me to the idea of randomizers.
Yeah. I just mentioned like on the end of the last episode, I was talking about the randomizer a little bit.
So I wanted to try it out. So I tried out with. I was very conservative with the settings. I did not.
Let's give you a little taste of that mashing.
A little bit of ASMR.
Hopefully you heard that. Okay, anyway. Yes, continue, Brian.
Yeah, so I was very conservative with the settings. I didn't do anything too crazy. But one of the things I randomized was the starter. And I got...
What's one of the funnest things is to see
what
Pokemon...
a Ghastly.
Great starter.
And dude, he's so
Wait, sorry,
broken.
Which game you didn't mention?
Red or blue, one of the two.
Okay.
But Squirtle is very easy.
Right.
Ghastly is even
Ultra
easier.
Easy is baby mode. Is Weenie Hut Jr. mode.
It's insane how powerful he is. And he's going to be a Haunter soon, and then...
unstoppable. Yeah. Very cool. Always been one of my favorite Pokemon, that Haunter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, after playing around with the randomizer, I thought, okay, this is fun, but...
It's so fun, yeah.
It got me down the rabbit hole of binary editors.
Yeah, you got deep. You went hardcore.
So, you can... the way the game works, it's written in assembly code, red and blue.
Yeah.
And they're basically just changing memory addresses.
Little values, basically. Yeah,
Yeah,
very
changing
simple
little
stuff.
values in memory addresses and stuff. So you can very easily make pretty drastic changes to the game
Yeah.
just by changing memory addresses.
Which is quite cool.
And so people have actually written programs where you can, like trainer editors, where
Yeah.
you can pull up a list of trainers, you pick them, and then you can edit their team, you can edit their items, their held items, you can add EVs to their Pokemon,
Yeah, wow.
and stuff
That's
like
cool.
that.
Which, if I'm not mistaken, that's basically what the randomizer program does. Also, it's very,
that's
very,
how
very
it
similar
handles it,
thing.
essentially.
Yeah.
And it writes everything to a text file where you can actually just edit the text file sometimes.
Yeah,
or
that's really
if
interesting.
it's got an INI file, and you can just do it that way. So I was playing around with that because what I've always wanted to do is I've wanted to edit the levels of some of the trainers in Red and Blue
Right.
to adjust like the balance of
Just totally rebalance it.
yeah,
Basically.
because I always felt like Brock was way too weak, and then Misty's not too strong, but
Fairly
she's
tough.
way. I've always considered her the strongest, opponent
hardest trainer.
in the game up until the
Yeah.
Elite Four.
Yeah, the hardest gym leader. Yeah.
Yeah. And then everything after Rock Tunnel is a total breeze.
Is a breeze.
Just,
Yeah. Pretty much.
So I wanted to like change it so that Brock was harder, that the fights after Rock Tunnel were harder, and that you would get more experience before you got to the Elite Four, so that even if you had a team of 5 or 6
Yeah.
Pokemon, that you'd actually still have fairly high levels.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So I played around with the levels of Brock's Pokemon, and it led to some interesting revelations. So
Yes, you came up to me with developments a lot.
Yes.
You're like, okay, now this happened.
So the one nice thing is you can edit your ROMs and then use save states, and just like you can go and edit the ROM and then reload your
Reload it
save state,
immediately.
and the change will be loaded.
That's really
so that's
nice.
very helpful. That saved a lot of time.
Super quick testing then. Yeah.
So I had a save state with Bulbasaur, with Charmander, and with Squirtle.
Right, so you could actually
So I could test
try it with
each
all
of
three.
them.
Nice.
With Squirtle, I had to raise Brock's team up to around level 40 before they stopped getting one shot.
Absolutely insane.
Like, it's
Like-
absurd how
Rock-
powerful.
Rock ground types, like I've
Yeah.
said this before, like, but just a drop of water, a sprinkle they'll just die instantly.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's ridiculous.
How weak to water they
And
are.
Squirtle gets water gun by level 15,
Right,
which
very-
is it's
pretty
very
quickly.
easy to get your Squirtle to level 15 before you get to Brock.
Yeah.
It's you don't even have to really grind.
Yeah, if you do everything, every trainer, and fight every fight in Viridian, yeah, you're good.
And so that's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah.
And because the first test I did was with Charmander, and I only
Obviously, the hardest of the three.
I raised both of his Pokemon up by just like 2 levels, and I'm like, okay, this is a satisfying difficulty. Because like Charmander's not that hard to beat him with. You just spam Ember, Onyx, and Geodude
You
both
win
have
eventually.
really low special stats, so they aren't super. Even though they're resistant to fire, their special stats are so low that you can kill them fairly quickly. I've never died against Brock with Charmander. And raising them up just like a couple levels each was enough to make it kind of challenging.
Nice.
But for Squirtle, I had to raise him up to like level 40, and then for
insane.
Bulbasaur, at least like level 30 to survive
Right,
Vine Whip.
they're weak to him too. So
Yeah, so
yeah. Crazy.
I was left with not really knowing exactly what to do about it because
yeah. Clearly, just doing levels is kind of
I
doesn't
can't
really work.
I can't make them challenging to Squirtle without making them impossible for Charmander.
Yeah, totally.
Now, one thing is, if you start with Charmander, you don't necessarily have to use him against Brock because you have a few options, especially in Fire Red and Leaf
Butterfree,
Green. And all this binary editing was in Fire Red and Leaf Green because that's 90% of the editors out there seem to be for Gen 3.
Okay.
I don't know why. It just seems to be the most heavily modded for binary editors.
Huh. Okay. I mean, it's a great gen. So
Yeah. And so I was doing all this in Fire Red and Leaf Green. In Fire Red and Leaf Green, you can get either of the Nidorans or a Mankey, which have fighting type moves. The Nidorans
they
get
destroy,
double kick,
yeah.
and Mankey gets karate chop and low kick.
Yeah.
And those are super effective against Onyx
Yeah.
and
Karate Chop
Geodude.
absolutely wrecks them. Yeah.
So, but since they have really high defense stats, that helps counter it a little. So they aren't nearly as weak to fighting as they are to water type moves. So that was a good test to see, okay, if it's challenging for Mankey,
Right.
then it at least won't be as easy for Squirtle and Bulbasaur.
There you go.
And Charmander players still have an option
Right. Have a chance, basically.
of getting just getting a Pokemon with a fighting type.
So, I mean,
move
you
to carry
shouldn't
them
use
through.
Charmander against Brock. That's just silly.
Even with Metal Claw, because their defense is so high, it does about the same damage.
It does the same as Ember. Oh, yeah, totally. It's like using Charmander against Misty. It's just like, well, that's just a bad idea. Like, yeah.
So, yeah. And then I also realized that if I raise the levels of Brock's Pokemon, I probably have to raise the levels of all the Pokemon that come after him because you'll get a lot more experience than you would have before.
Right.
So that's if I actually go through with that, it's going to take a while.
Yeah. That's going to take some more testing and stuff.
Yeah.
Didn't you mention something about replacing his Pokemon too?
I even tried. Yeah. So, like, I tried to throw an Omastar in there,
right?
And that certainly made it harder for Squirtle, but not for Bulbasaur.
Right, Bulbasaur one shot very easily. Yeah, still 4 times a week.
The only Pokemon that isn't weak to either water or grass that he could use that has rock as part of its type is Cradily, which is rock grass, which would work. It's a Gen 3 Pokemon, so it's not it's within that game's code and stuff, but yeah.
Crazy. I could see Brock with a Cradily.
Yeah,
it's not that weird.
It'd be fine.
Yeah,
totally I wish. I could even go as far as editing Geodude and Onyx, so their types, and just making them pure rock type.
Right.
It would make them.
It would make them so much better. Yeah. Really, I think Onyx really should be just a pure rock type.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Geodude. He's a floating rock.
He is just a rock, I guess. Huh? Yeah. Way too many rock ground types. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, I don't know why they were so crazy about dual types all over the place, but there are a lot of them.
Dual types as bad as rock and ground together is just terrible together. Mostly negatives, not really many pluses to that. Yeah.
And then the only other thing I've gotten Pokemon related news is I realized I hadn't beaten Yellow since I was a kid. I beat it one time.
Yeah.
It's the only Pokemon game that I beat legitimately for a very long time.
Really? Like without the Cinnabar?
I think the first time I beat a Pokemon game legitimately after that was in like 2011.
Like, wow, yeah.
Yeah.
Dang.
So, and I beat it with and of course the first challenge I had was getting past Brock because I had a Pikachu.
Yeah.
And in every other scenario, I had always used my starter. Always. Yeah. Even if it was Charmander, I would just use Ember and it'd be fine. But with Pikachu, there's like you're not going to beat him with Quick Attack.
Yeah.
Not unless your Pikachu's level 35 or something. Yeah. So what I did was I caught a Butterfree and used Confusion.
Yeah.
And then that Butterfree carried me through the whole rest of the game.
Yeah, Butterfree's so good.
I had to grind him up to level 91 before I could beat Gary. And that was the first Pokemon I ever got that high of a level without cheating.
You never do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you never grind that high. That's funny.
And even since then, I think the highest I've grinded a single Pokemon was like level 75 or something.
Wow.
So yeah, that was the first and only time I've had that kind of patience.
Sick Butterfree.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so, and then I looked and I had a copy, I had a ROM already downloaded and I had a save state and I looked at it and it was from 2013.
Jeez.
So it's been a while since I've even tried to play the game.
Yeah.
And I was still like in Viridian City or something. I hadn't even made it very far.
Yeah.
So I started a new profile, caught a Nidoran. Before I got to Brock, I had Pikachu, Nidoran, and Spearow. And that's what I just kept those three for the whole rest of the game.
Whole game.
I didn't use any
that's
other Pokemon.
Decent team. So.
Except I caught either a Bellsprout or an Oddish for cut.
And stuff.
And that's it.
Yeah.
And so it was just those four for the whole game, and it was super easy.
Super
like
easy,
I don't
I bet,
understand
yeah.
why
I
it
mean,
was so
Nido King is
challenging for me as a
crazy.
kid.
Yeah.
Nidoking is absurdly
Nido
overpowered.
King is so good in Gen 1.
Yeah. And like when I did Nuzlocke, Nidoqueen was my MVP.
Yeah.
So even though she's not as strong as Nidoking, she's still pretty close.
Right. No,
Still very good.
I like Nido Queen. I actually typically go with her.
Yeah.
I think just to be different, maybe. I don't know. But
Well, between just high base stats, the fact that you can get them super early, Nidoran evolves at level 16, and then you get a Moonstone in Mount Moon, so you can get them to Nidoking or Nidoqueen
in Mount Moon
right away.
Yeah.
And then
there's almost no reason to not immediately evolve them.
They know
too.
Double Kick, which is very strong. Lots of Pokemon are weak to fighting.
Don't they learn Peck too?
Nidoran male does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that's insane too.
And then
great flying.
And then later on, they can learn moves like Surf and Thunderbolt and Blizzard and Earthquake.
Actually, I typically teach Thunderbolt to my Nidoqueen.
Yeah.
So,
my Nidoking, he knew Thunderbolt, he knew Surf, he knew
they're insane.
Earthquake. Yeah. He couldn't learn Dig, oddly enough, in Yellow.
Oh, that's funny.
I didn't remember that he couldn't learn Dig, but
that's awesome.
Yeah, maybe
I'm sure he can later. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah,
but cool. That's one I've had a yellow cartridge, like an actual cartridge, for a long time. That was sort of my Gen 1 game. I mean, I love blue and stuff, but yeah, for Gen 1, I usually played yellow, and I think I just beat that not too long ago, just because I really like that. But yeah, very nice. Very nice. I've been been wanting to try Gen 5 because I really haven't played it. It was Gen 4 and 5 was when we weren't really playing Pokemon much. I just wasn't playing Pokemon in that time of my life.
Yep. Me either.
So obviously we played Gen 4. We both have made it clear that we don't love it. Really looking forward to Shining Pearl.
Yeah.
I have it pre-ordered.
I am interested to see.
I'm really looking forward to that. Hopefully that's better. Hopefully they add some fire types.
I actually had trouble getting into Gen 3. But then when I tried Alpha Sapphire, that was great. So
that's a really good
I had
game.
no problem getting through that.
And I found obviously I would absolutely buy a cartridge for White and White 2, but I mean they're $200 plus, so it's absolutely insane to actually get a physical one. If I could legally get it for like 50 or less, I would absolutely buy it.
Yeah.
But since Nintendo hasn't decided to give us that right, I did download it on and my phone actually has a really good DS emulator. So I'm playing White right now on my DS. I'm playing it, trying to play it just really normally and just getting Pokemon I think are cool and whatever, taking it slow. Like I've been playing it for a while, but I'm only on like Route 3. I just beat the first gym. I just got a Pidove, which I'm so excited about. I love Pidgeot and stuff. Pidgeot's one of my favorite birds, but Pidove to Unpheasant is probably my favorite bird Pokemon.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've always
prefer
just really liked Unpheasant for some reason.
I think I prefer Starly and
that seems more like you. I
evolution,
mean, that is a better Pokemon too.
Yeah.
He's extremely strong.
Actually,
Star Raptor or whatever.
Yeah, the fire one.
Talonflame.
Talonflame,
very
yes. That's
Talonflame's
one of my
awesome.
favorite just bird Pokemon.
He's awesome.
Is that whole evolutionary line. Even the first form, he's very cute.
Oh yeah, Fletchling is adorable.
Fletchling,
yeah. But yeah, so I'm really excited about my my Pidove. I started with Oshawott, obviously, just because I'm almost always a water type.
I think I did, in Gen 3 I started, or Gen 5. Yeah, I might have started with Oshawott. I don't remember.
I think Oshawott sort of suits you. So
I don't even remember who the fire starter is.
Tepig.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yep, I did start with
Infernape.
Oshawott.
Yeah. Yep. Oshawott's cool.
For some reason, Gen 5 has the least memorable starters for me.
I was gonna say it has my least favorite starters.
Yeah.
Period. Out of all three of them, it's probably gonna hurt a lot of people's feelings, but
Yeah.
absolutely my least favorite set of starters. Even Oshawott, who's my favorite out of them, I don't really care for.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why. Just none of them do it for me.
Yeah.
But in general, I'm actually really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Just taking it slow, having fun. I'm really liking it.
I did prefer Gen 5 to Gen 4.
I absolutely already prefer it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm actually really excited to keep playing that.
But yeah, it was not memorable.
Yeah.
Not a memorable game. I am struggling to even remember much of what I did in the game.
Nice. I think I'm remembering it better just because I'm, really
Yeah.
trying to just enjoy it, just take it slow and whatever. But I don't know. That's usually how I play Pokemon. I take Pokemon way too slowly compared to you. Like
Yeah.
you do the opposite.
I feel like
like
Sun and Moon was very
yeah.
out of all the games I've played recently, which there are more Pokemon games that I've played in the last 5 years than
ever, probably.
before
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
and Sun and Moon I think was the most memorable.
I think Sun and Moon is. I don't want to say it's my favorite generation of Pokemon, but it's up there.
Yeah.
And it's close to my favorite. I've found these more recent ones I'm really starting to prefer to Gen 1 and Gen 3 and stuff. I think partly it's the visuals. I just get more engrossed in it when they look better, which is kind of silly. But I don't know. I like the variety of the Pokemon. I like whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really enjoy X and Y too.
I think
so.
Sun and Moon was just so stylized and
Very much so. And great Pokemon. A lot of really good new Pokemon.
I feel like I was way more invested in the story than I was in almost any other Pokemon
some
game.
story actually, like the Ultra Beast stuff with Lusamine and everything.
Like,
pretty interesting.
Gen 4 and Gen 5 were so forgettable as far as the story goes.
So far, I think Gen 5's interesting because it brings up the debate of like, is it ethical to fight with Pokemon?
Yeah.
Basically, which is kind of cool that they're actually tackling that.
Uh-huh.
But also they're very much like PETA, I feel like.
Yeah.
Team Galactic. They're like, we're for Pokemon rights. Anyway, I'm kicking this Pokemon now.
Yeah.
I don't know. But in general, I totally get that also, that it's sort of forgettable story-wise. Yeah, I don't know. The whole starter thing, I was thinking about it just yesterday while I was grinding this Rowlet, which I'm still doing, which I am on 1,323. Still going. I was trying to think like what my actual favorite starter is, and just my favorite starters throughout each generation.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go through them now.
Okay.
Because we don't talk about Pokemon enough. You
Nope,
know, I really feel like our listeners don't know that we like Pokemon.
Right.
And I think we just really need to make that clear. So
leave no doubt.
Yeah, So I was thinking Gen 1, obviously, Squirtle is the obvious choice.
Of course, because he's just the
Obviously,
best Pokemon.
I know he's your
period.
favorite. So I got the spoilers for when you have to do this after I'm done. But you're a Squirtle fan. I really enjoy Bulbasaur too, but I'm not a Charmander or Charizard fan. People go nuts over Charizard, and I'm just like, whatever.
I've always liked Charmander and Charizard.
Yeah, like he's cool.
I don't know.
I'm
They've
like,
never been close to my favorite.
Yeah. It's great for Pokemon cards because Charizards are worth a lot.
Yeah.
And I have no attachment to them whatsoever. So I'm happy to
The
sell
middle
them.
evolutions tend to be my least favorite of the starters, with the exception of Ivysaur. I've always loved Ivysaur.
Ivysaur is really good.
In
I
fact,
actually really like Wartortle, so he's probably my favorite out of all
It's
the
like-
Squirtle line. But
it's like for me, like if I put all 9 of them in order, it's like Squirtle, then Blastoise, then Bulbasaur, then Ivysaur, then Charmander, then Charizard, and then probably Wartortle, Venusaur, Charmeleon. Yeah. Charmeleon
you
is
don't
my
like Charmeleon?
he is my I
think he's
never
kinda
have
cool.
liked him very much.
He's a bit weird. He's a bit bony looking.
Yeah, and he's always it seemed like he seems like the jerk in high school
Yeah, he's
that
a
like
punk.
makes fun of you.
Yeah, he's a bit of a punk. That's true.
He seems like someone who would have tried to shove me in a locker if he could have.
Yeah, dude. Fire punch into a locker. That
Yeah.
would suck. So Gen 2, I'll go through these quickly. Gen 2, I usually go with water, so this is not surprising, but Totodile is my favorite water starter. Out of all of the starters, water for water, definitely my favorite. I don't actually love Croconaw or Feraligatr, but Totodile is absolutely amazing. So
I don't like any of Totodile's line.
I know
the
you don't
entire
like
line.
Totodile.
I don't like
which is
Totodile
very
or
offensive.
Croconaw or Feraligatr.
Croconaw's very silly looking. He looks like a dumb
Whereas-
caveman, and I get that.
Whereas
but
I love Cyndaquil
Yes.
and Quilava and Typhlosion
all really awesome.
and Chikorita and Bayleaf
Chikorita and Bayleaf and Meganium. True. I'll
So-
get back to Gen 2. Gen 3, I would probably say Mudkip. But again, actually, those three I don't love.
Yeah,
any of those three.
I like Torchic.
Yeah, Torchic's cool. He's like
Yeah.
too popular. He's like too cool.
Yeah.
People like fire types too much.
Yeah.
This
And
is all I'm saying.
I like Torchic and Blaziken. I don't really
Yeah.
care about the others.
Yeah, Sceptile and stuff. We're like,
yeah.
not a fan.
Who was Gen 4?
Gen 4, I know, right? Piplup, I think, is great.
Piplup. Yes, I like Piplup.
I think Piplup's great. Definitely my favorite.
I don't
up
like
there.
Chimchar as nearly
I
as
don't like
much as
Chimchar
Torchic. And then
Turtwig is amazing.
Turtwig.
Torterra, little
Yeah.
turtle, grass turtle.
What did his first stage look like again? I don't
Turtwig
even
is
remember.
so cute, little guy. It's actually
Keep
really,
talking while I look him up.
it's a really hard choice for me between Turtwig and Piplup, because both are just really cute. I think I prefer starting with Turtwig,
Oh yeah, I like Turtwig.
but Piplup's up there. So
I like them.
I'm probably gonna give that to Turtwig actually.
Yeah.
For Gen 4 for me.
Well, I think his last stage is
Torterra's fantastic.
Yeah, Torterra is probably my favorite of
Cool and a
third
really
evolution
good
of
Pokemon
the
too. So,
fourth gen starters. So yeah.
yeah.
And then we already said Gen
5 I
5 starters.
mentioned.
We don't really care for any of them.
Least favorite, but Oshawott probably my favorite just because he's cute and water type. So, next gen,
Gen 6.
I'm gonna have to go with Fennekin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I just like I like that's probably my favorite fire type starter because, well, not necessarily. It's up there.
And this was X and Y.
X and Y, yeah.
Yeah.
Because Delphox, the fire psychic typing is really nice.
Yeah.
Obviously, Froakie's really cool with
Oh right,
Greninja
Froakie,
and
yeah.
stuff.
Well, Greninja's awesome.
Greninja's really cool, but yeah, I'm gonna give that to Fennekin. I think for me,
Who was the grass type again?
yeah, the most forgettable starter in all of Pokemon is Chespin, who evolves into Chestnut, I think, which is one of the dumbest looking Pokemon ever. Sorry to Chespin fans out there, but yeah, definitely giving that to Fennekin. Was probably the only time I picked the fire type as my favorite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, now you remember.
Yes.
He's
most
not terrible
forgettable
looking,
for sure.
especially the first one, but Chestnut looks terrible.
Yeah.
Obviously, Sun and Moon. I'm grinding it out right now. Rowlet is. I'm gonna say it here, folks. Rowlet's my favorite starter.
Wow.
I think ever. Beating out Squirtle and Totodile. I just love Rowlet. I love Dartrix. Love Decidueye. Love the ghost typing. He's the only ghost starter. Love
I
it.
think
absolutely love it.
That line is probably my favorite style wise
So cool.
from Sun and
Bow
Moon.
and arrow. Oh, he's so cool. And has a great shiny. It's all like teal blue. It's amazing.
Because like
wait. Any second now, I'm gonna
Primarina
get it.
or
Primarina.
Primarina
Water
and,
Fairy.
and yeah, and then the
Incineroar.
Incineroar, the
Yeah.
Luchador fire type.
Not a huge fan of Incineroar.
He's kind of cool in his
He's
own
cool.
way, but
he's a wrestler.
yeah,
That's kind of weird.
I
But
definitely
whatever.
think Decidueye is the coolest of them.
Decidueye is just awesome, and I love Rowlet's the cutest little boy. I love owls. Love the leaf bow tie. Just amazing stuff.
Yeah.
Most recent gen, Sword and Shield. That one's actually a toss up because I do really like Rillaboom and Grookey.
Mm-hmm.
But I think I'm going to go with Sobble and Inteleon as well. I just think he's cool. He was my first playthrough with him. I like
They're
it.
all kind of
I like
middle
it.
of the road for
They're
me.
all pretty meh. I agree.
Yeah.
None of them
They're
love.
all right.
I don't
I
absolutely
don't
love
think
them.
any of them are bad. I just
Exactly. They're not
Yeah.
bad. Certainly not Gen 5. But
wow.
got him. But yeah, not my favorite starters.
No.
But Inteleon's cool. I'm going back to Gen 2 for a moment
Uh-huh.
to say that if you're counting all starters, it has the best starters out of any Pokemon generation because I love all three of them. I can't say that about any other generation that I love all three. But
Okay.
yeah, so like I say Totodile is my favorite just because he's one of my favorite Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
But Chikorita and Cyndaquil are right up there with him.
If I liked
both
Totodile as much as I liked Chikorita
Yeah,
and,
you don't. Yeah, I know
and
you don't,
Cyndaquil,
yeah.
then I would agree.
Yeah.
But because of I don't, I have to say Gen 1.
Yeah. So like right next to Decidueye and stuff, Meganium is one of my favorite grass types
Yeah.
ever. Love Meganium. Chikorita is great, obviously. But yeah, Meganium is absolutely awesome.
Yeah. And Meganium is actually my least favorite of that line. I like Bayleaf a lot.
Yeah,
And
Bayleaf's
Chikorita is
cool.
just cute.
Bayleaf's cool looking. Love Quilava.
Yes.
Quilava's probably my favorite of the three although Cyndaquil's so cute.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that made it sort of a hard choice for Arceus Legends that's coming out. Pokemon
yeah.
Legends Arceus or Arceus, whatever you want to say. Because the starters are Cyndaquil, Rowlet, and Oshawott. So obviously I wouldn't pick Oshawott. Sorry, Oshawott. Which is the first time I'm like, absolutely would not pick the water starter.
Yeah.
Normally that's the one on the table for me. But I'm going to have to go with Rowlet just because he's my favorite. But Cyndaquil is a very close second in that choice. So, yeah. That, by the way, that has an official release date. It's in January.
Oh yeah,
22nd.
2022.
Yeah, in 2022. So not too far away.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm sort of sad that Diamond and Pearl aren't till November. Because I'd like to play them sooner than that. But whatever. You know, that's fine. It's
So
fine.
I've been watching. I just finished it last night. Star Wars: Clone Wars.
Oh, yeah. Let's talk about that a little bit.
3D
We haven't
animated
talked about
series?
Star Wars at all.
Yeah.
We're Star Wars fans.
So
I'm not as much as you are, but
I'm a lifelong Star Wars fan. I
Yeah.
literally cannot remember a time where I didn't know that Darth Vader was Luke's father.
spoilers.
Because Return of the Jedi came out like 7 years before I was born or something. So the original trilogy has existed as a thing in
Right, since you were born,
Western media
basically, yeah.
for my entire life since before I was born. And the first time I watched them, I was probably 4 years old or
Super
something.
young,
So
yeah.
I can't remember a time before Star Wars.
Yeah, you're a Star Wars kid.
And
Absolutely.
then episode 1 comes out in 99, so I'm still 10 years old.
Yep.
This is same year I got into Pokemon, interestingly enough.
a lot of good media back then.
And I loved the Phantom Menace, and I still love the Phantom Menace.
Me
And
too.
I don't care about all the people that say that it's terrible.
All the hate gets a lot of hate. But,
Like,
you know.
yes, midichlorians is a dumb idea. I agree. Can we move on?
Yeah, move on. Still a good
Qui-Gon
movie.
Jinn is awesome.
Qui-Gon Jinn's amazing.
Young Obi-Wan is awesome. Darth Maul is awesome. The pod racing scene is really fun.
Yep, good stuff.
I like all the
lot of
ship
good
battles and the force usage and the lightsaber fights. They were all all this stuff that I wanted more of after seeing the original trilogy. I got it was just
totally.
payoff after payoff. So I love that movie.
Yep.
And so, we as part of the getting ready for Clone Wars, I'm like, I'm gonna rewatch everything up until Clone Wars.
Yeah.
So episode
the
1, episode
prequels,
2. Episode 2 is definitely the weakest of the prequel movies, in my opinion. And especially at watching it again recently, I'm like, this is not a great movie, is it?
So
I like episode 1 way better than
it's
episode
interesting.
2.
It's the most nostalgic for me.
Yeah.
Is Clone Wars, but because I saw it in theaters when it was new as a very young kid, and it was the first Star Wars movie I got to see like that.
Yeah.
And so, and I watched it over and over when it came to DVD and stuff. So I think that's why I like it. But
Yeah,
but I know deep down that it's a bad movie.
Yeah.
So
You were only 6 years old,
I was
think?
really young, yeah. But I do remember seeing it in theaters.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I'll always like it for
Yeah.
those reasons. But
Well, and I have to say, episode 2 is what really kicked off it reignited a love of Star Wars because in 1999, as much as I love The Phantom Menace, it had to compete with Pokemon, and it just had no chance.
Unfair.
And so like it didn't make me go, oh, I need to buy Star Wars toys and video games and watch Star Wars and read Star Wars books and do all this now. But
Bonk.
episode 2 came out kind of right as our hype for Pokemon had dwindled. And so
sense.
that just reignited my
Like,
Star
bro,
Wars
Star
fire
Wars.
like nothing else.
Yeah.
I was obsessed. I got that's around when I got the Star Wars Encyclopedia, which I still have.
Nerd.
And it's when I started reading all the Star Wars
Right.
novels.
You actually started reading the
that
books,
take place after Return of the Jedi.
Which that truly like makes you a Star Wars fan. I feel like the books.
Yeah, so like the Thrawn trilogy,
Yeah.
the Star Wars X-Wing series.
I hope you're enjoying this conversation, Tim. Okay, continue.
Yes. And yeah, and I that's some of the most reading I ever did was in like 2002 and 2003 when I was reading all those Star Wars books.
Nice.
I wanted to read everything. I didn't
makes your
actually.
kids want to read.
Yeah. And
Star Wars.
do you know the first time Coruscant is ever mentioned in a piece of Star Wars media is in the Thrawn trilogy?
Wow, really?
Yeah. That was its original mentioning.
Interesting.
And it was then after mentioned in many books in the expanded universe, but it didn't appear in anything like officially canon until episode 1.
Yeah. Wow, that's cool.
But yeah. And so what's interesting about my Star Wars encyclopedia is it was written in 1998. So right before episode 1 came out.
Gosh.
So
Wow. So it's only the
I can
original
like
and the books.
compare and contrast what's
Yeah.
in there to what's in what's in the
prequels.
current like Disney canon
Yeah.
and see what has carried over.
What's Legends and what's
Yeah.
Disney canon, yeah.
It's very interesting to
That's
see.
interesting, yeah.
Obviously, in the Disney canon, a lot has been made up
Yeah.
after the fact. I don't really know why George decided to not take more inspiration from the expanded universe because there was so
Yeah.
much good lore that
Yeah.
had been developed in there. But also, it was his baby, so
I mean, it is his thing,
yeah.
so yeah.
I can't blame him too much for that. But yeah, I'm just kind of surprised he didn't
Kind of sad a little bit.
work with some more of that.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I started with. So I watched episode 1 and 2. I watched the 2003 2D animated Clone Wars,
Which is awesome.
I remember when that originally aired, and I watched the first couple of episodes, and then I don't remember why, but I didn't keep up with it. I'm gonna guess it was because
You just missed it on TV or something.
It was honestly, it was probably the time slot didn't work with,
with
like
our schedule.
school or something.
Yeah.
Or maybe there was a show on a different channel that I was watching at the time. 2002 to 2004, I watched a lot of TV and a lot of like anime, Dragon
old
Ball Z,
classic
Pokemon,
anime,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
Outlaw Star, like shows on Toonami and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
So I just if it wasn't in the right time slot, I just didn't watch it. Whatever it was. So I watched
I think
all that.
that was the Gundam Wing era, basically.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yep. And then so finished that, and then I just last night finished
You finished it last night, right?
yeah,
The Clone Wars.
3D animated Clone Wars.
Nice.
I remember when we saw the movie, the Clone Wars animated movie in 2008 in theaters.
Yep.
Which is when they introduced the character Ahsoka, which I was not happy about because it just made it feel like a bad fan fiction.
Because it's Anakin's Padawan.
Yeah. Because it's like, okay, what does every 15-year-old fanfic writer want in the Star Wars universe? They want Anakin to have a Padawan.
Yeah.
And guess what they did the moment they started this 3D Clone Wars is they gave him a Padawan.
Yeah.
That said, I love what they did with her.
Thankfully, they made her a good character.
She was very well written.
Yeah.
Dave Filoni is
A master, yeah.
Yeah, just very, very well done, I think.
Yep.
And it only got better as it went along.
Yeah.
With the series.
Does it get kind of more serious? I have not seen it.
Yes.
So
I would say it does,
yeah.
for sure.
Which I feel like that happens a lot with, like, good kids shows, is that they start out very kid friendly and then get more and more serious and better as time goes on. Same thing with Avatar.
Main characters dying is not a thing that happens much.
Yeah.
Unless it's plot important. So, which I mean, I guess obviously, but main characters are pretty well protected for the most part. It's mostly red shirts that die. I mean,
we have
especially
sequels.
early in the game.
We already have sequels
series,
so like we know who for sure
we
lives
know who definitely makes it
and
through.
stuff like that. Yeah,
but
like,
they
guess what? Obi-Wan doesn't die.
I feel like they really showed the realities of war, though.
That's cool.
As much as you can in a kids show.
Yeah,
like a lot of times I see, especially in shows for little kids, that if there are humans fighting in a war, that nobody really dies.
Right.
Or the casualties
really
are super minimal, or
Yeah.
people just only get hurt, but they don't die. Clones are dying left and right by the dozens, sometimes by the hundreds.
Dang.
Just dying off like crazy. And that was really refreshing,
that
actually.
sucks.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, cool, you're showing a kid's show, but you're showing that, hey, war is like deadly and
War is
bad.
hell.
And yeah.
War never changes.
Yes, of course. So, yeah.
That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and then in the later seasons, stuff gets real. So
Yeah. Nice. So speaking of Dave Filoni, my wife and I just started watching Avatar: The Last Airbender because I don't know if I ever really watched it all the way through. I feel like I've seen most of it.
Yeah, I did the same thing like 3 or 4 years ago.
It's just one of those things.
I just sat down and watched the whole thing, start to finish.
So I'm excited to really watch through it. And my wife has only seen a little bit of it too. So
I still need to watch Legend of Korra. I only saw the first couple of episodes.
I haven't seen that either. Yeah, we might watch that after, but I'm not sure.
I don't do well anymore with shows that are currently airing. I prefer to watch in batches, so I tend to wait until a show is fully aired before I
I think the last few shows I ever watched that were like currently airing was like WandaVision was one of the few, and then like part 5 of JoJo. And that's about it. Like, it's pretty rare that I watch a show like that.
Yeah, WandaVision,
which was great,
and Mandalorian are like the only two shows that I watched that were.
I waited. Like season 2 of Mandalorian was almost over when I started Mandalorian.
True.
So,
same with me, actually.
Yeah, so I got to binge through season 1, and then basically as I watched season 2, the ending happened, so I got to watch it like immediately. Yeah. So it actually worked out really well. But yeah.
I also like that in The Mandalorian, they brought things over from the Clone Wars series.
Yeah, totally.
So that was cool.
I mean, Ahsoka obviously is in it and is great. I think they chose a really good actress to play her. Yeah, a lot of that's really cool.
Yeah, and
obviously Bo-Katan, tons of characters.
Back, yeah,
really cool. Made it feel very complete, and I think it transitioned well into live action from animated. But yeah. I'm looking forward to all those other shows. You know, Kenobi and Ahsoka, and they're all getting their own shows now, basically. So
it's gonna take a lot to keep track.
There's gonna be a lot. Yeah. Speaking of, too, Loki starts like next week.
Oh, good.
Like literally,
I'm waiting for that one.
Actually, I think it might even be like this week. I think it's like in a couple days, maybe. Like it's really soon. Yeah.
I really never cared about Marvel until the MCU.
Yeah. We never really read comics.
No, we never really did, and
it's one of the few things we didn't do nerdy. Basically,
like I remember in the late '90s, the mid to late '90s. So like late '90s to early 2000s, graphic novels were kind of starting to surge in popularity. I don't know if I'm sure they existed before that, but that was the first time I had ever heard of them. So clearly they were a little more popular than they had been. I got into a couple of those.
That stuff like Watchmen and stuff was really big right then,
but not.
too.
I never
like
really
that.
got too heavily invested. Part of it is because we didn't really have any money. So
Right. They cost money.
I didn't have a bunch of them. Like I couldn't just buy a whole bunch of them.
Yeah.
And there's not really a lot of content in a single graphic novel, so can't really. Unless you buy a lot of them, you don't really have a lot of entertainment value. So.
I mean, I watched. We read manga. I read manga for a while.
I ran into that problem with manga, at least with physical copies. That like if I wanted to actually have a lot to read, I had to buy a lot.
Yeah,
and
they're $11 each.
Yeah. Even
they were like
even when they were 7 when I was in high school.
For Naruto,
I was in high school. I had no money, so
yeah. Yep.
But. So yeah, we never were into comics really. So I watched a ton of TV as a kid. Watched a lot of cartoon shows, and I saw the X-Men opening a bunch.
Yeah,
and I even like would sit through half an episode or so, but I never really got into the show.
What's going on here? Yeah,
I never watched it enough to get into it.
Yeah.
But I was very vaguely familiar with some of the characters. Like I knew who Wolverine was.
I know who the Wolverine is.
I know he has claws and he wears yellow spandex.
Yeah.
And he has a
mad,
rough
and he's
voice.
mad a lot.
Yeah. I know Professor X is the dude in the chair with the X wheels.
He's the bald
guy. He does
guy.
mind stuff, I guess. I know Cyclops shoots a red beam from his face.
Totally cool. Yeah.
That was about it.
And that's the story of X-Men, everybody.
And then I knew who Spider-Man was, but like I almost don't know how I knew who he was because I didn't read any Spider-Man comics.
It'd be hard to not know who Spider-Man is, I feel like.
But I think it was from like 5-second video clips that I caught while channel flipping,
like
essentially.
A commercial or something.
Yeah.
Totally.
Or ads for the Spider-Man
like a toy
cartoon
or something. Yeah.
Or and toys and stuff.
Yeah, totally.
So that was all I knew of Marvel for a long time. And then we had the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies and the X-Men movie.
We were really into those.
And we're like, okay,
I like Spider-Man a lot, yeah.
They weren't like amazing movies, but we liked them. They were good.
Yeah.
But then Iron Man comes out.
Freaking Iron Man.
And again, that's another hero who I had heard of.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about
I knew nothing about Iron Man.
I knew what he looked like. I had heard of him. I knew there was a Marvel hero called Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
I knew there was a group of Marvel heroes called the Fantastic Four. I didn't really know who the Avengers were.
Yeah, I knew Hulk. Like Hulk's big. Yep, I know Hulk.
That's another one where like I saw ads for the show and just never watched it. So that's what I knew of the Hulk was just the ads for the cartoon.
He's big and green. I know that.
Man, if it weren't for TV commercials,
Thanks, TV.
There's so much of pop culture I wouldn't know about.
Yep. There you go. And Gushers, they turn your head into fruits.
Yeah, well, I ate Gushers a lot because I think they're delicious.
They're amazing. They're amazing. Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, MCU was amazing.
They're all fantastic.
It made me love characters that I never cared about before.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that absolutely made me, and now I am sort of into comics. Like I have quite a few comic books now, thanks to the Marvel movies getting me more into the extended universe. Mm-hmm. And now I'm quite a Spider-Man fan. Like now I've read a lot of Spider-Man comics and Spider-Gwen comics because Gwen is amazing. Mm-hmm. But so it's really cool that it sort of got more people into Marvel that weren't really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah. So we were talking about Star Wars.
We were?
Yeah, at some point.
I'm just grinding in Pokemon.
So I didn't really play any Star Wars related video games until
it's gonna happen.
Star Wars Episode 1 Racer and Star Wars Rogue Squadron for the N64.
Yes.
Those two games for the N64.
Definitely. I loved that pod racing game.
And I already talked about my most recent experience with Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, atrocious.
Yes.
Unplayable, I think is what you called it.
Yes. But when I used to play it on a tiny CRT and didn't know any better.
Right. I don't know that this looks like garbage.
Right. Yeah. In 1999, I didn't know that looked like garbage, or 2001 or whenever it was. That was one of those games that I only beat with cheats.
Yeah.
But the thing is it's one of the few games that was hard even with cheats because there were a lot of timed missions. Mm-hmm. And every time you died, it took time to die. And
Takes
so
time
even
to
if you
die.
have infinite
No
lives,
time to die. You still lose.
yeah.
I can't die, and I still
So there were
lose.
still some missions that were very difficult,
Yeah.
even with infinite lives.
I mean, it's like Contra and stuff, like unlimited ammo. You still have to fight the things.
Yeah.
Like it's, yeah,
And I did find that sometimes crashing into something was more effective than shooting at
Yep.
it. And so if I had infinite lives, I'm
There
like,
you
oh,
go.
okay, suicide bomb.
there you go. It's good stuff. That's
Yeah.
just as the designers intended.
And Star Wars Episode 1 Racer,
That
that was an interesting game because as you raced, if you damaged your pod at all,
Yeah,
eventually
the
it
whole
would
damage
become
thing.
useless.
Yeah,
You,
you could like total it basically.
yeah. And so you would have to buy new parts, and the parts weren't always in perfect condition even.
It's so
They
funny.
were often partially damaged, but that made them cheaper.
Uh-huh.
And so it was kind of
you lived-
disturbingly realistic.
Yeah, you lived in this scavenger world where like that makes sense that this is a
Yeah.
piece of crap. Yeah,
like,
no, I actually
oh,
really like that.
Just like in real life, I
Yeah.
can pay more for the better part that's in better condition. And
But is it worth it? I'm cheap. Yeah.
I don't know how long that game actually is because I quit after a while, but I feel like I got really far.
Probably. I don't think it's that long.
I
so.
had played that game for probably 40 plus hours
Yeah.
at least. And I got pretty far, and I was in this race that was just so hard. Like just avoiding hitting walls and stuff and
Yeah.
not hitting other pods and not blowing up was hard enough, let alone winning the race. And I remember just this feeling of defeat. Like I just can't do it anymore. And that's when I stopped playing.
Oh, it's so sad.
Now had I owned the game, because I think I rented it. I don't think I ever actually bought the game.
Gotcha.
Had I owned it, I might have gone back and played again later.
Didn't
but
we own like the PlayStation version?
We did.
Yeah.
It was so much easier.
Yeah. Didn't it look way better too?
Oh,
Didn't the
of course,
N64
but it was
one?
because of
Yeah.
PS2.
Oh, it was PS2. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that one better than the N64 one.
It was much easier. I beat the whole game and unlocked like all the pods
Yeah.
and had a max level, max stat pod.
Didn't you play Sebulba a lot?
No, I played
Clegg Holdfast?
Clay Cold Hast, yep.
Yeah,
And you were
not bad.
EB Endicott, right?
Endicott. Yep,
Yep.
that's right. Good
Yep.
stuff.
Yeah, I
remember
always
those
played as
names
either
there,
Clay
yeah.
Coldfast or Dudbolt, I think.
Ah, okay. Yeah, yep, I remember that. That was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
Um,
good stuff.
I remember.
I gotta get the Switch version. I actually really want to try that.
I
out.
remember a friend had the Star Wars Episode 1 game for PC, and
Yeah. Oh yeah.
there was a God mode cheat. Literally, you typed in
Just
God
called
mode,
God
and
mode.
it just made you like unkillable. And
Nice.
I don't know what it was,
Sick.
but like us 11-year-olds were like, man, cheat codes are the best.
Yeah. Why play the game when you can just destroy everything? Difficulty
think-
is bad.
I think power fantasies are an attractive thing, and
Yeah,
I think
for sure.
I
Sort of
don't
the point
think
of a game.
I don't
but-
think it's a bad thing to have video games that exist that are basically power fantasies where
Yeah.
everything is easy because it appeals to that need.
Yeah. That's fun sometimes.
Like I have no power over anything in my life, but in this game I am a god.
yeah. It's for sad people.
Yes. like 11-year-olds.
Yeah, no one's more depressed than 11-year-olds.
Nope.
It's a fact.
Um
Anyway,
yeah.
1333. This is the one, guys.
Yes.
Can I get a pog in the chat?
It's like 1333 megahertz RAM.
Dude, 5 away. I should get Leet. That should be the one.
There-
That'd be awesome.
That would be amazing.
Oh, that'd be so sick.
it.
We'll see.
Do it.
We'll see. Do it. Do it. Do it.
Played another game we rented multiple times.
Kill him now.
It's funny, there were a few games where like I rented it like 5 separate
Oh,
times.
totally.
And kind of got my play
like-
out of it, like all the play I ever wanted to get out of that game.
Yep.
Jedi Outcast.
It's much easier when your mom manages a Blockbuster and you get free
Yes,
rentals.
for sure.
Okay.
We got Jedi Outcast one time, and
Yeah,
that
Outcast is so good.
was one of those games that it had a lot of different kinds of force powers.
Yeah. That was a great game.
And they even had some that were just unique to that game that didn't exist in
Totally
any
not real.
other Star Wars media.
Totally. Yeah.
like Dark Bind,
Whoa.
which
Scary.
just like covered you in like red lightning and you were faster and stronger.
Sick.
Yeah.
Sick. I don't
Then,
remember that, but that sounds awesome.
Obviously, Force Lightning, Force Push, Force Pull, Force
Yeah.
Run, Force Jump.
Force Kiss?
No, I don't think so.
That's a Game Grumps joke. Sorry. Go ahead. Cool. Continue.
And you could be a Jedi or a Sith. And yeah,
Nice.
Sith got the dark powers.
They got the
and
cool stuff.
Jedi got the light powers.
The power. No. I remember really liking the second game, the Jedi Academy game or whatever.
Oh, yeah?
Jedi Outcast 2.
I don't think I actually played that one.
I remember playing Outcast 2 a lot more than number 1, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're both on
'Cause-
Switch now, which I really want to, I would love to replay those.
And then Star Wars Republic Commando.
Also very good.
I'm actually going to rebuy that game. It's an
I think it's on the
Xbox
Switch
game,
too,
not
yeah.
even an Xbox 360 game. So, but now that as in the last episode, I've resurrected my Xbox. So
True.
Now I can play regular Xbox games. So I might just pick that up.
There you go.
Man, I remember when Xbox games looked good to me.
Yeah, they looked amazing. PS2 too.
Yeah.
I was like, bro. Like Halo 2, I was like, this looks
Oh, yeah.
incredible.
Especially Halo 2. That was...
It's like, it does not look good at all.
Not anymore, no.
It looks quite awful.
Although, I still love the textures in Halo 2.
No, yeah,
I don't know what it is about them. They just... They're
I mean, it's
like...
partially nostalgia, I'm sure.
Yeah, but it's like they're
it feels good.
dirty
Yeah, it feels good.
in a good way.
Yeah.
Whereas in episode 3, it's...
Episode 3.
Star Wars
Revenge of
episode
the
3,
Sith.
Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Chief.
Revenge of the Arbiter.
Yep.
In Halo 3,
Yes. Revenge of the
everything is
Flood.
just too shiny.
Too shiny. Okay. I wish I was too shiny right now.
I mean...
1834.
13, nice.
Here we go. Kill me, please. Someone.
It's not like Bungie's fault. Every video game did this in 2007.
Uh-huh.
They were all like, hey, shiny means good.
Right,
And so
right.
we're going to make every video game just super bright and shiny.
Mm-hmm.
And every texture is going to have blends all over it. It's so shiny. Look at how good it looks.
Look how good it looks.
And then later they learned how to dial that back a little bit. But
Nowadays it's like, but everything's too dark now. Like,
Oh, yeah.
if we just make everything shaded, it looks good. I don't know. That's the whole thing.
We
now.
all go. The game industry goes through phases.
Trends, that's for sure.
Everything needs to be bright. Now everything needs to be dark.
I wanted to mention, you mentioned Halo 2. One of our favorite levels in the game, Outskirts. One of the best levels, that second level.
Yeah. Also the glitchiest.
Very
Level
glitchy.
ever.
Some really fun stuff you can do on that level. Speaking of, another podcast I listened to from Rooster Teeth called Bleep Face. That's the F word. Anyway, but I promise it's good. It's a good podcast. So Gavin and Andrew Panton, they had a bet to beat each other's times on that level in Outskirts, and they streamed some of it, and they're so heated against each other that they've become like professional speedrunners at Outskirts.
Uh-huh.
One of Gavin's times was under 4 minutes
Nice.
to beat the entire level.
Wow.
And I'm like, how is that physically possible? Even just the cutscenes. I'm like, how do you
Yeah, right?
beat it in 3 minutes and 47 seconds or whatever? Anyway, amazing. Super, super cool to watch. But made me want to try and run through it really fast. That's
Yeah.
on Legendary, by the way.
Wow.
On Legendary.
Yeah. Because, man, the Rooster Teeth guys have played a lot of Halo.
A lot of Halo. For a long time, they've been playing Halo. Yeah, Gavin is a Halo man. He's a master. Not surprisingly.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's okay. We can end it if you want.
No,
We're
I
at
mean,
58
we can
minutes.
go a little bit longer. Well, I'm not done with Star Wars games.
Okay, Star Wars.
I have a handful more. Just a few more. Battlefront 2. That's the game I was playing when my Xbox
The good
died.
one, not the new one.
Right, the old Battlefront 2. KOTOR, Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, yeah.
That's one I want to replay because I never really got very far, and I actually really enjoyed it. It was one of the first games I played that had like morality.
Yeah.
Besides Fable,
Right.
and it was a
Fable's always my
little
go-to
bit
with that.
more complex than Fables. It had a little more to it.
Yeah, Fables is very simple.
It was still obviously very simple. Still, it's just that it was like they hid its simplicity a little better.
Yeah.
It gave the illusion that there was maybe a little bit more to it.
Yeah, nice.
It was also interesting. It was the first game I played with an auto attack.
Huh. Okay.
So like World of Warcraft was the next game I played after that with that.
Ah, okay.
Where like you select an enemy, you move toward that enemy, and then your character starts attacking it, and then you use like you can use special abilities and stuff to supplement your basic attack, but your basic attack is automatic.
Right, you just sit there. Yeah.
Which that was the first time I'd ever played it, and it felt very strange.
Yeah. Why am I not mashing the X button?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Because every game I had played before that, all attacks were manual.
Yeah, gotcha.
So yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, KOTOR really played like an MMO.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And then they even had that The Old Republic MMO that I always wanted to try, and then it seemed like it fell apart before I even had a chance to try it. So
that's a shame.
Yeah.
That's a shame.
Because a Star Wars MMO would still be pretty fun, I think.
Yeah. They've just never really been able to do it for some reason.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It seems like it'd be a thing that would be popular and cool, but
do people still play Empire at War? I think that was another one.
Maybe. I don't think so.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about it in years.
Yeah.
And I remember when we first got our GameCube, I got Star Wars Rogue Leader.
Yeah, which is pretty much a Rogue Squadron sequel.
I was briefly really hyped about it, but then very quickly lost interest.
It's okay. It's just one of those. GameCube had some pretty good launch titles.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Luigi's Mansion, incredible. Metroid Prime is incredible.
Yeah. Was Sunshine a launch title?
I think it may have been.
Because we had it when we got ours.
Because that was insanely good as well.
Pretty early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite games of all time. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. I'm not sure I played much. Oh, obviously Star Wars Jedi Starfighter.
Oh yeah, that's
probably the Star Wars game I've put the most
probably the one you
time
played
into.
the most. Yeah.
Even though
great game.
It's such a short game, I can beat it in 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's funny. It was one that I have both owned and rented, and then like
gotten rid of, and then
then rented again, and then bought again. Like one time, I was like, "Oh, I." For some reason, I had like 3 days off in a row, and I don't remember why. Mm-hmm. But I was like, I'm gonna rent Jedi Starfighter. I'm gonna play it for all 3 of those days.
Yeah.
And then I beat it in 3 hours. Like, oh,
crap.
Well, now what am I gonna do?
Huh.
Also, that was
I'll
always
watch
on
the bloopers on the special features.
Yeah. My day at work,
which was
never
so
forget.
good. But yeah.
I've only ever beaten it on easy mode, actually.
So you're a true master of it, clearly.
Yes. I played it once.
I don't think that surprises anyone.
No,
by the way.
Probably
Sorry.
shouldn't. I played it on medium once and got destroyed, and I'm like, I don't need to do that again. I like being good at this game.
Yeah, I'm the master. Beating, well, it's like your Smash Bros. Beating very easy.
And
classic.
Only losing 2 lives.
Yeah, I'm so good at Smash. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like in general, with most video games that have a difficulty level system where like there's a story mode and there's an easy mode, and then you can go to medium, which is the same thing, but the enemies like hit harder, or there's more enemies, or both, or whatever. And with those types of games, I consider myself like a hard mode player, not an expert or very hard or extreme player. In general, like Halo on heroic.
Right.
But
fairly easy. Like it's not especially difficult.
There are some games
for you,
that like easy is the best I could ever hope to do.
Yeah.
Like Mech Assault.
Yeah. There's just some types of games, like for me, especially like fighting games. I will never be great at a fighting game. It's just never going to happen. Just not my wheelhouse.
Yeah, there's some games that like you really above a certain difficulty, you have to really learn how to actually play the game correctly.
Yeah, you have to truly learn and practice the strategies and stuff.
That's like me in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
Like
you just refuse.
I don't actually know how to play Kingdom Hearts correctly.
Listen, It's really easy. You just mash the X button.
No, that's the thing is mashing the X button is only good enough to get you through
I
normal.
know. It's true. I mean, well, I used to play that way a lot, and then I was like, guard. Who needs that?
Right.
Why would you equip that when I could just add aerial recovery or something?
I actually started to need to. I needed to learn how to guard to beat Kingdom Hearts 1.
Yeah. Especially. Yeah.
Because I beat
Kingdom Hearts 2, you can beat without guard.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But Kingdom Hearts 1, yeah, you have to actually learn how to play.
Yeah.
If you're going to play it, moderate at least. Yeah, I think practicing 100%ing proud mode on Kingdom Hearts 2 is when I actually learned how to play the game.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, you can actually guard attacks? I was like, wait, reflect magic actually does something? That's crazy.
Reflect is what saved me in
so strong.
Kingdom Hearts 1.
It's absolutely insane how strong it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
It was
what was it called?
It's fun
Wind
stuff.
or something?
Arrow. Yeah.
Arrow. I
Arrow's
used
awesome.
every fight in the later half of the game.
Not in Kingdom Hearts 2, which is very upsetting.
Yeah.
But it was great in 1 and 3. So yeah. I love Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah. it's almost
so
time
good.
to do our deep dive on it.
Almost time
we'll have to do that
to
soon.
really talk deep about Kingdom Hearts. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
By the way, I am on the Leet attempt, and I'm almost
He's
done
gonna
with
do
it.
it. Come on.
Not only is it Leet, it's the end of the episode, and it would just be so sweet. It would be so incredible. The odds are so slim.
PogChamp, let's go.
PogChamp, let's go. Show those emotes in the chat. I want to see W's. I want to see it. Let's go right
Nothing
here.
but W's.
Blue
Come
Rowlet.
on.
That is not a shiny Rowlet. That's a shame.
And on that note,
Thanks guys for listening to this crap podcast where the people who talk about Pokemon all day can't even get a shiny.
No.
So there you go. There you go.
I've never caught a shiny besides the red Gyarados
Which
in
is
any Pokemon
not
game
really
ever.
a shiny because it's guaranteed.
I know, but
Yeah.
still.
So you don't
Yeah.
want to know my very first natural shiny was in Sun and Moon. First time I played Sun and Moon, I got it was totally random. It was just I was just swimming and a Tentacool ran into me and it was purple and green and I was like, what just happened? So that was awesome. So that wasn't even that long ago, but it was the first time I was playing through Moon.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Every
Very
shiny
cool.
I've ever gotten was through Wonder Trade.
Yeah. Oh, well, there you go. That's awesome. My second one was a Poliwhirl, which is really cool because that's one of my favorite Pokemon. And that like really light blue on the shiny Poliwhirl is really nice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I still have him. I still have all those, all of them. So they're in my box, just sitting there. I also caught a shiny Weezing in the power plant on Let's Go Eevee. Just randomly ran into it.
Nice.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. I'm on Lee8. So who knows?
Lee8.
Who knows? I'll let you guys know on Twitter if I ever get this thing. So
Speaking of our Twitter,
keep an eye out on Segway on @TheBrothersGPod on Twitter. Go ahead and give us a follow. Check out all the Pokemon cards I've been opening because I'm posting them all there. Chilling Reigns coming out very soon. Very excited. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Give us a rate on the podcast platforms. Give us a subscribe on YouTube. All that good stuff. Throw us some comments. We'd love to talk with you guys. So, yeah, that's it.
Yep.
That's a podcast. Hour and 8. Not bad. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's it. That's the end.